Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your daily dose of English, where learning English is easy, practical, and super fun. I'm Tom.
And I'm Sarah. Hello to all our amazing listeners out there. How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm doing fantastic, Sarah. I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something so many English learners need help with.
Absolutely. Today we're talking about using public transportation. This is such an important topic for anyone living in or visiting an English-speaking country.
It really is. We're going to help you learn how to buy tickets, ask for directions, and understand those sometimes confusing announcements you hear on buses, trains, and subways.
Yes, and let me tell you, even native speakers sometimes have trouble understanding those announcements. So, don't worry if you find them challenging.
That's so true, Sarah. But before we dive in, we have a quick favour to ask all of you wonderful listeners.
If you're enjoying our podcast, please take a moment to subscribe to your daily dose of English. And don't forget to give this episode a like and share it with anyone who's learning English.
It really helps us reach more learners around the world. And we love reading your comments, so please tell us about your experiences with public transportation in English-speaking countries.
Okay, Tom, are you ready to help our listeners navigate public transportation like a pro?
I am absolutely ready. Let's start with the basics. Sarah, have you ever felt nervous using public transportation in a foreign country?
Oh, definitely. I remember the first time I had to take the subway in New York City. I was so confused. There were so many lines, so many people, and everyone was moving so fast.
That's such a common experience. Public transportation can feel overwhelming at first, but here's the good news for our listeners. Once you learn a few key phrases and understand the system, it becomes really easy.
That's true. And you know what? The first step is usually the same everywhere. You need to buy a ticket.
Exactly. So let's talk about buying tickets. This is where many learners feel nervous because they have to speak to someone or use a machine.
Right. Let's start with buying a ticket from a person at a ticket counter or booth. What's the first thing you should say, Tom?
Well, the most common and polite way to start is simply, "Hello, I'd like to buy a ticket, please." Or you can say, "Hi, can I get a ticket to," and then say your destination.
Those are perfect. And here's a useful tip for our listeners. Always say your destination clearly. For example, "I'd like a ticket to downtown," or "Can I get a ticket to the airport, please?"
Great point. And if you're not sure how to pronounce the place name, you can show it written on your phone. That's totally okay.
Absolutely. Now, the person might ask you, one way or round trip? Do our listeners know what that means?
That's a really important question. One way means you're only buying a ticket to go there. You're not buying a return ticket. Round trip means you're buying a ticket to go and come back.
Exactly. So if someone asks one way or round trip, you can answer one way, please, or round trip, please.
And here's another question you might hear. Adult or child, or student or regular? Some places have different prices for different people.
Yes, students often get discounts. If you're a student, you can say, "Student, please," and they might ask to see your student ID.
Now let's talk about ticket machines. Many cities have automatic machines where you buy your ticket yourself. These can be a bit tricky at first,
They can be, but most machines have an option to switch the language to English. Look for a button that shows a British or American flag, or sometimes it just says English.
That's such a helpful tip, Sarah. Once you switch it to English, the instructions become much easier to follow.
The machine will usually show you a map or a list of destinations. You touch or click on where you want to go.
Right. Then it will show you the price. You can usually pay with cash or a credit card. Some machines even accept contactless payment, like tapping your phone or card.
And here's something important. After you pay, the machine will give you your ticket and sometimes change. Make sure you take both. Don't forget your ticket or your change.
Yes, keep that ticket safe. You'll need it to enter the platform and sometimes to exit at your destination. Don't throw it away until you've completely finished your journey.
Great advice. Now, Tom, let's move on to asking for directions. This is where many learners feel really nervous because they have to have a conversation.
I understand that nervousness, but honestly, people are usually very helpful, especially when they see you're trying your best.
That's so true. So, what's a good way to start when you need to ask for directions?
The best way to start is to get someone's attention politely. You can say, "Excuse me," or "Excuse me, sorry to bother you."
Yes, that's very polite. Then you can ask your question. For example, which platform for the train to Boston? Or, where do I catch the bus to downtown?
Those are excellent. Here are a few more useful questions. Does this bus go to the airport? Or, is this the right platform for the Central Line?
And if you're not sure which ticket to buy, you can ask, what ticket do I need to get to the museum? Or, how much is a ticket to 3rd Street?
Now here's something really important. Sometimes the person's answer might be fast or complicated. It's okay to ask them to repeat.
Absolutely. You can say, sorry, could you repeat that, please? Or, could you speak more slowly, please? People will understand.
And if you still don't understand, you can ask them to show you. Could you show me on the map? Or could you point to the platform? Are very useful phrases.
Another great phrase is, do I need to transfer? Or, do I need to change trains? Transfer and change mean the same thing. They mean getting off one train and getting on another train to reach your destination.
That's such an important question because many routes require transfers. If someone says, yes, you need to transfer at Union Station, you can ask, which line do I transfer to?
Perfect. You know, Tom, I think one of the most helpful things is learning how to ask about time. Our listeners need to know when their bus or train is coming.
You're absolutely right. You can ask, when does the next bus arrive? Or, what time does the train leave?
And if you're worried about being late, you can ask, how long does it take to get to downtown? Or, how many minutes to the airport?
Those are all very natural and common questions. People ask these questions every day, so don't feel embarrassed to ask.
Now, let's talk about something that can be really challenging. Understanding announcements.
Oh yes, this is tough even for native speakers sometimes. The sound quality isn't always great, and people speak quickly.
Exactly. But there are some common words and phrases you'll hear over and over again, so learning these will help a lot.
Let's start with some basic announcement phrases. You'll often hear, the next stop is, followed by the station name. Or, now arriving at, followed by the station name.
Those are the most important ones because they tell you where you are. When you hear the next stop is followed by your destination, you know you need to get ready to exit.
Another common announcement is please stand clear of the doors or please mind the gap. These are safety announcements.
Yes, stand clear of the doors means don't stand too close to the doors when they're closing. And mind the gap means be careful of the space between the train and the platform when you're stepping on or off.
You might also hear this train is going to, followed by the final destination. This is important because some trains on the same platform might go to different places.
That's a really good point, Tom. Always listen for where the train is going, not just which platform it's on.
Another phrase you might hear is, please have your ticket ready for inspection. This means someone might come around to check that you have a valid ticket.
Yes, and if you hear, this service has been delayed, it means your train or bus is late. Delayed is a very important word to know.
And sometimes you'll hear, this service has been cancelled. That means the train or bus is not coming at all. You'll need to wait for the next one or find another route.
Those are frustrating situations, but knowing what the words mean helps you understand what's happening and what to do next.
You might also hear announcements about transfers or connections. For connections to the Blue Line, please change at Central Station. A connection is another word for transfer.
And sometimes you'll hear, please offer your seat to elderly or disabled passengers. This is asking people to be polite and give their seat to someone who needs it more.
Now here's a really useful tip for our listeners. If you can't understand an announcement, look around at what other people are doing.
That's excellent advice. If everyone suddenly stands up and moves toward the door, it probably means the next stop is a major station or the end of the line.
And if people look confused or frustrated, there might be a delay or problem. You can politely ask someone, "Excuse me, did you understand what they said?"
Yes, don't be shy about asking. Most people are happy to help, especially if they see you're a visitor or learning English.
Let's talk about some other useful vocabulary for public transportation. Sarah, what's the difference between a bus stop and a bus station?
Good question. A bus stop is a small place on the street where a bus stops to pick up passengers. It's usually just a sign and maybe a small shelter. A bus station is a bigger building where many different buses start and end their routes.
Perfect explanation. And what about train station versus subway station?
A train station is for trains that travel between cities or towns. These are usually bigger, longer distance trains. A subway station, also called an underground station or metro station, is for trains that travel within a city, usually underground.
Great. And in some cities, especially in the US, people call the subway the metro or the train. In London, they call it the tube or the underground.
Yes, different cities have different names, but they all mean basically the same thing. An underground train system within a city.
Here's another important word, platform. The platform's the area where you stand and wait for your train. The train to Boston departs from platform 5, means you need to go to platform number 5.
And the word track means the rails that the train runs on. Sometimes people say, the train on track 2, which means the same as the train at platform 2.
Let's talk about some other useful words. Rush hour is the time of day when public transportation is most crowded, usually in the morning and evening when people are going to and from work.
Yes, and off-peak means times when it's less crowded, usually in the middle of the day or late at night. Some places have cheaper tickets during off-peak hours.
Another useful word is fare. The fare is the price you pay for your journey. The fare to downtown is $3.
And you might hear about a travel card or a pass. These are special tickets that let you take unlimited journeys within a certain time period, like a day pass or a weekly pass.
Those can be really economical if you're going to take public transportation several times in one day.
Now, let's practice some complete conversations. Tom, let's role play. I'll be a confused tourist and you can be a helpful local. I'll start. Excuse me, could you help me? I need to get to the art museum.
Of course, you need to take the Green Line. The station entrance is just over there across the street.
Thank you. Do I need to buy a ticket first?
Yes, there's a ticket machine inside the station. Just select Art Museum on the screen and it will show you the price.
Okay, great. And do I need to transfer or change trains?
No, it's a direct line. The Art Museum is the 5th stop. It takes about 15 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. Have a great visit. That was a great example, Sarah. That's exactly the kind of helpful conversation you might have.
It really shows that if you know a few key phrases, you can get the information you need. Now, let me share a personal story about public transportation.
I'd love to hear it.
When I first moved to London, I was so intimidated by the tube system. It seemed so complicated with all those coloured lines crossing everywhere on the map.
I can imagine. The London Underground map looks pretty overwhelming at first.
It does, but I learned a trick. I took a photo of the map on my phone and I would zoom in to see just my route. That made it feel less scary.
That's a fantastic tip. Breaking it down into smaller pieces makes everything more manageable.
Exactly. And after a few days, I realised it wasn't that complicated. Most of the time, I only needed to use 2 or 3 lines.
That's true for most cities. You don't need to memorise the entire system. Just learn the routes you use most often.
And another thing that helped me was watching other people. I would see where they tapped their card, which direction they walked, when they stood up to exit. Observing is a great way to learn.
That's such smart advice. Sometimes watching is just as important as listening.
Now, Tom, let's talk about what to do if something goes wrong. What if you miss your stop?
Great question. First of all, don't panic. It happens to everyone, even people who use the route every day. Just get off at the next stop.
And then what?
Usually you can just cross to the other platform and take a train back in the opposite direction. You might need to ask, which platform for trains going back to? And name the stop you missed.
That's helpful. What if you get on the wrong bus or train completely?
Again, don't worry. As soon as you realise, get off at the next stop. Then find a staff member or a friendly passenger and say, I'm trying to get to... Can you help me? People are usually very kind.
And here's an important phrase. I think I'm lost. I'm trying to get to... This will usually get you lots of help.
Absolutely. Most people remember a time when they were lost or confused, so they're happy to help someone else.
What about if you lose your ticket or it doesn't work?
Good question. If your ticket doesn't work at the gate, there's usually a help button you can press, or you can find a staff member. You can say, "My ticket isn't working. Can you help me?"
And if you've lost your ticket, be honest. Say, "I bought a ticket, but I've lost it." They might ask you to buy a new one, but explaining the situation is better than trying to go through without a ticket.
Yes, never try to avoid paying. In most places, there are people checking tickets, and the fine for not having a valid ticket is much more expensive than the ticket itself.
That's a very important point. Now, let's talk about some cultural differences in public transportation around the world.
Oh, this is interesting. Public transportation etiquette can be quite different depending on where you are.
Exactly. For example, in Japan, it's considered rude to talk loudly on the train or to eat. People are expected to be very quiet.
That's right. But in other countries like Spain or Italy, people are much more relaxed about talking and even eating on public transportation.
And in London, there's an unspoken rule that you don't make eye contact or chat with strangers on the tube. Everyone just quietly reads or looks at their phone.
Yes, but in New York City, people are more likely to have conversations with strangers or ask for help. The atmosphere is different.
These cultural differences are important to know, not because you'll get in trouble if you don't follow them, but because understanding them helps you feel more comfortable.
Absolutely. And our listeners should know that if you're clearly a visitor or tourist, people will be more forgiving of small cultural mistakes.
That's true. The most important thing is to be polite and respectful. If you do that, you'll be fine anywhere in the world.
Now let's give our listeners some practice phrases they can memorise. These are phrases that will help in almost any situation.
Great idea. Let's start with buying tickets. Repeat after me. I'd like a ticket to downtown, please.
How much is a ticket to the airport?
One way, please.
Round trip, please.
Now, let's practice asking for directions. Excuse me, which platform for the Blue Line?
Does this bus go to Main Street?
Do I need to transfer?
Where do I get off for the museum?
Excellent. Now, some phrases for when you need help. Could you repeat that, please?
Could you speak more slowly?
I'm lost. Can you help me?
Which way to the exit?
Great job, everyone. If you can say these phrases, you're already well prepared for using public transportation in English.
You know, Sarah, I think the most important thing we can tell our listeners is this. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
That is so important. Making mistakes is part of learning. Every time you ask a question, even if your English isn't perfect, you're practicing and improving.
And think about it this way. Native English speakers also get confused on public transportation sometimes. They also have to ask for help.
That's such a good point. Asking for help is normal. It doesn't mean your English is bad. It means you're human and you're in an unfamiliar situation.
Exactly. So our advice is be brave, be polite, and be patient with yourself. You're doing great.
And remember, most people want to help. If someone doesn't understand you the first time, try again with different words or show them what you need on your phone.
Technology can be a great helper. You can use maps apps, translation apps, or just show a picture or address. These tools work together with your English skills.
Yes, using all your resources isn't cheating. It's being smart.
Well, Sarah, I think we've covered a lot today, from buying tickets to asking for directions to understanding announcements.
We really have. And I hope our listeners feel more confident about using public transportation in English-speaking countries.
I'm sure they do. And remember, everyone, practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases, the more natural they'll feel.
Absolutely. Before we finish, let's do a quick recap of the most important points.
Great idea. First, when buying tickets, know your destination and whether you want one-way or round trip.
Second, don't be afraid to ask for directions. People are usually happy to help. Start with, "Excuse me," and ask your question clearly.
Third, learn the common announcement phrases like "the next stop is" and "please stand clear of the doors." These will help you understand what's happening.
Fourth, if you don't understand something, it's okay to ask someone to repeat or to speak more slowly.
Fifth, watch what other people do. Observation is a great teacher.
And finally, be patient with yourself. Using public transportation in a foreign language takes practice, but you'll get better every time.
Those are perfect takeaways, Sarah. And listeners, we want to hear from you.
Yes, please leave us a comment and tell us about your experiences with public transportation. What was challenging? What helped you? We love reading your stories.
And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends who are learning English. Help us reach more learners.
Don't forget to subscribe to your daily dose of English. We have new episodes coming out all the time with practical English for real-life situations.
Thank you all so much for listening today. We really appreciate you being here with us.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, every journey starts with a single step, or in this case, a single bus ride or train trip.
That's beautiful, Sarah. All right, everyone, we'll see you in the next episode.
Until then, keep confident and keep learning. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Safe travels.